Welcome to Not Entirely Unlike Tea with Christine Collins. Hey there, it's Christine Collins, and a lot of times we toss around this word mindset, usually in the context of providing some type of mindset-related service, something along the lines of coaching, counseling, various different types of mindset tools, and various different types of coaching practices. But sometimes it gets used so often that it actually loses its meaning, and while it may seem common sense to understand what mindset is, it's actually a lot more specific than we may realize. So when we use that word in everyday conversation, it kind of comes across more along the lines of being a mood, a way that you are feeling, a way that you are thinking. But actually, mindset is really more of the lens that we are looking through. It is more of the framework that we operate out of, and it is very closely connected to our belief systems. So if we think of it as a lens that we look through, it's usually going to be in the form of a story that we're telling ourselves or that we've been told, some kind of a narrative, and often it is an identity story, something that's about us specifically that tends to have the biggest impact on our behaviors, our choices, and ultimately our experiences. So a mindset is what frames how we look at the world. It comes through many, many different things, including what we were told when we were very young, messages that we have received repeatedly over a span of many years, as well as our own life experience, which has informed our beliefs and the way that we look at things. So if you have a belief that, for example, all people who work really hard are inherently good, or that being loyal is more important than anything else, or that if you work really hard, it'll always pay off in the long run, or if you stand out too much, that you will be likely to be punished. Even little phrases that we hear thrown around just in society, like no good deed goes unpunished, money doesn't grow on trees, and the sorts of implications that those little statements and phrases have, which is to say with the one about money and trees, that money is not easily attainable. With the no good deed goes unpunished, it's to say that even when you're trying to do something good or something nice for someone, it's likely that there will be a negative outcome from that. Someone won't be happy about it. So you can see where those little quotes and phrases have kind of an embedded story or mindset, which is the lens that it is being viewed through. So we are viewing life experience through that lens, through that story. It's kind of like wearing a pair of glasses that have a certain tint on it, whether that's green or purple, or sometimes you'll hear the phrase rose-colored glasses. It's looking through that lens or that tinted glass, and then everything that you look at has that little bit of that tinted color to it. That's essentially what mindset is. Now, when we apply this to our success in business or overall happiness in life, the most potent and powerful mindset glasses that you can wear are beliefs that we have about ourselves specifically. So if that story goes something like, I never get to keep the relationship, or I never make the sale, or so-and-so in my life is really good at selling their products, but mine don't sell like that. So these are all different pairs of mindset glasses that we can wear and that we can interpret the world and all of our experience through. And sometimes just adjusting the tint on the glasses by slightly changing the story, even just a little bit, can really allow for a different experience to become possible. So if the previous story was something like, no matter what, the relationship will never work out in the end, I meant to be alone, and you up-level it just a little bit to, well, maybe they haven't worked out in the past, but this time there is a chance that it could turn out differently. And that little opening, that little window of hope, that little bit of a maybe in there, allows you to kind of open that teeny tiny window into a slightly different mindset, a slightly different story. It doesn't have to be a big dramatic shift to go from this never worked for me before, I just don't get to win at this thing, all the way to I'm going to win every time. It doesn't have to be a dramatic shift. for it to be really impactful. And you can apply this to lots of different scenarios in your life where you may feel like you keep repeating the same pattern over and over again. So it could be something like an eating pattern, or something like what happens whenever you get a new idea for your business and then you do or don't follow through with it. Or it could be related to sales and business success, or popularity in the spaces that you're in, or in your relationships. Maybe the same patterns are repeating and you just can't sort out why it keeps happening the same way every time. So shifting that lens that you look through can make a world of difference in terms of how it influences your beliefs, which lead to your behaviors and your actions and your choices, which lead to other people and the world itself responding to you, which lead to your experiences. Because what happens is that when you start to believe differently, you start to act differently, and then you make different choices. You might interact with other people a little bit differently. You may also accept different opportunities that come your way. You may feel differently about the things that didn't work out, and you may move closer and closer to different things, new things, things that you had not pursued before. And you may move away from other things that you've always been around, that have always been familiar, but now they don't feel familiar anymore because your mindset has changed. And it no longer feels comfortable to stay in that same place or with those same people or the same repeating patterns and situations. So you start to move away from the things that perhaps have harmed you or not felt good to you or just haven't served you in various ways. And that ultimately changes the trajectory of your life and your experience. And also your expectations start to change. What you're willing to accept and tolerate will start to change. What causes you to move differently in the world. You start to accept some things maybe that you didn't used to, and maybe you'll disallow other things differently than you did in the past. And that is how changing a belief or story or a mindset, that frame that you're looking through, how that begins to actually change your life. And really, it's the foundation of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and grow at any age, even despite potentially decades doing it the same. Because of that neuroplasticity, we're able to change our beliefs. You know, we may walk around thinking that something that we've always done, a way that we think that we are, something that we have always believed, we may just assume, oh, this is just how I am. This is just the way that things are. But actually, it's changeable, and you can change your mind. You can change your beliefs. And when we do that, we're actually building new neural pathways in the brain. We are able to make changes in the way that we think and the way that we feel and how we look at things and do things, and ultimately how we move around in the world. So if that is of interest to you and you've never really been sure how to get started or what direction to go in with changing some of those beliefs that you may or may not even be consciously aware are holding you back, but you see the repeating patterns in your life experience. You can see where it feels like the same thing keeps happening, or you keep doing the same thing over and over and you're tired of that pattern and you're ready to change something about that. You're ready to change the pattern. You're ready to change your thoughts. You're tired enough of thinking about things in the same old way, and it makes sense to try looking at it through a new lens or through a different mindset. So in those cases, then hypnosis is an absolutely incredible tool for you. Just in case you're not familiar with what it is or how it works, essentially a hypnotherapist will guide you very gently down into a deeper, more relaxed state using some very carefully designed phrases and suggestions to get you deeply relaxed. And the reason why we do that is because when you are deeply relaxed, you're in what we call the alpha brainwave state, or sometimes the theta brainwave state. These are states that are kind of like a twilight in between being fully awake and being fully asleep. And in those states, we are more open. We are more open to new ideas. We're more open to suggestions. We're also more creative. We're also better problem solvers. So it's a very powerful state to be able to get into and to access. And once in that state, it is much easier then to begin to shift some of those stories and transition some of those beliefs. They become more malleable in that state, more pliable, more changeable in that state. And so the hypnotherapist then will create new suggestions around a specific goal that you have. So let's just say that your specific goal that you have is that you want to have a new habit or a new routine. Perhaps it's eating differently, working out differently. Perhaps it is to do with productivity and focus, or getting more creative ideas for your business or for some other project. Or it could be having better interpersonal relationships. It could be feeling a greater sense of calm and peace. You're under a lot of stress. You're experiencing anxiety and overwhelm, and you want to feel more calm. So whatever that goal looks like for you, your hypnotherapist can design hypnosis towards that goal and towards the specific beliefs that will support you in moving closer to achieving that goal. And when you listen to it repeatedly, that repetition, hearing that new mindset, that new story, repeatedly over and over again, is very powerful for the brain in terms of building new neural pathways, in creating that new belief that you are adopting. It's very effective in helping you to kind of create a new code that you can run, as opposed to all of the old ones that you've been running for years, all of the programs around not good enough, not quite smart enough, educated enough, talented enough, good enough at sales, extroverted enough, popular enough, likable enough, intellectual enough, or things around how it just never works out for you. No matter how hard you try, the same results always happen. That could be in business, that could be in relationships, that could be to do with health and well-being in some way. So there's a variety of different stories that could be existing, that mindset that is old, and it's not really holding up against what you're looking to do and to have now in your life. And so you're ready to make that transition. Hypnosis is a great tool for that. And if you would love to try hypnosis at a very low cost, typically hypnosis sessions, a single session can run hundreds of dollars depending on the therapist. However, if you would like to give it a go as a recorded session, then I offer a hypnosis and mindset membership, which you can access for only $7 monthly. And in doing so, you get access to a whole library of hypnosis audios that are geared towards various different goals. There really is something for everyone in there. There's a lot of things for entrepreneurs around focus and productivity and success and content creation, but there are also plenty of other hypnosis audios that are a bit more broad, including topics around health and wellness, family harmony, sleep, weight release, stress and overwhelm, and all kinds of things that many of us struggle with day to day. So you have the opportunity to listen to these hypnosis audios as a session. They range roughly between 15 and 20 minutes, so it is nice and easy to fit into your day. It doesn't have to take up hours of your time. And those 15 to 20 minutes are very powerful, particularly when you use them repeatedly. So if you select a hypnosis session, a recorded session, and you play it and you listen to it, let's say every day for a few weeks, you're going to notice a difference in how you're feeling and the things that you're thinking about and the way that you're looking at things. And over time, you will begin to see changes in the outcomes that you're experiencing. So if you'd like to check that out, there is a very special opportunity for podcast listeners to get in their first month at only $1. And then the membership does renew from there at $7. But it's extremely easy to cancel at any time. I have everything in the Hypno-Pothecary inside the membership portal that you can do that on your own, or of course you can contact me if you run into questions as you go. So I hope you found this conversation to be interesting and helpful. And until we connect the next time, I wish you the most magical and creative rest of your day. Thanks for listening. This is Christine Collins at transformcreate.com.